sorry. That was acting. That's what that was. I don't really care what happens with this movie. I really hope her career is pretty much over. I'd be thrilled to see that. I can't imagine. I mean, Christian, you tell me.
Have you changed up your impression at all, or is it pretty much the same?
Well, the noise is the same. I've not got any more noises in my back pocket. The new infected are pretty terrifying. They're so smart, and they haven't really got a noise. That's the whole point of them. Is they're silent and terrifying.
Ooh, give us a little silent and terrifying.
Nasty. Not only is she incredibly controlling, but she's a bitch about it to everybody who works for her when things inevitably start spiraling.
Oh my God. She is so full of shit.
This is not what it's like.
The creator of the show is finally speaking out about its failure. The Last of Us creator Craig Mazin admits season 2 was a failure. The finale drew over 50% less than the finale of season 1. You lost half of your audience.
The Last of Us was never just a show. It was HBO's golden child. A juggernaut with prestige, budget, and a loyal fan base ready to eat up every second. Season 1, a masterpiece. Awards, acclaim, and the kind of numbers streaming platforms dream of. So when Season 2 rolled in, expectations weren't just high, they were impossible. But behind the success was silence. The kind of silence that only speaks louder with time. Now that silence is breaking, and it's not coming from critics, insiders, or anonymous leakers. It's coming from someone who was there, someone fans trusted. Nico Parker, the rising star from season 1 and once a close friend of Bella Ramsey, is finally lifting the curtain. And what she's exposing, it's enough to burn down everything HBO built. Tensions, outbursts, a collapse so uncomfortable, insiders say season 3 has already been quietly shut down. The golden era of The Last of Us may be over. And Bella Ramsey might be the reason why.
The Last of Us was plagued by complaints of bad casting. And The Last of Us 2 is not faring much better.
Everything about Season 2 screamed massive. Massive budget, massive casting, massive hype. Bella Ramsey returned as Ellie and Isabella Merced joined as fan favorite Dina. And then there was Nico Parker, the grounded, graceful co-star fans had adored from Season 1. It was a dream team. On paper. But behind the press tours and polished trailers, something wasn't right. Reports of crew tension, sudden script changes, directors dropping out without explanation, and through it all, whispers followed one name everywhere, Bella Ramsey. While the public focused on the casting and teasers, insiders started hinting at something darker, a growing problem behind the scenes. And quietly watching it all unfold? Nico Parker, who at the time hadn't said a word. Not yet. Long before fans picked up on the tension, Nico Parker had already seen enough to know something was off. She was there when rehearsals dragged on for hours, not because of complex blocking or last-minute rewrites, but because arguments broke out over direction, tone, and, most commonly, ego. According to insiders, Nico quietly expressed concern to close collaborators early on. The problems weren't loud at first, they were subtle. Bella reportedly pushed her own interpretation of Ellie so hard that it clashed with both the script and the director's vision. She'd interrupt, override blocking, question authority, sometimes in front of the entire crew. What really made things uncomfortable, sources say, was Bella's tendency to turn every discussion into a debate, often unrelated to the story or the character. She'd bring up politics, identity, activism. She wasn't just playing Ellie anymore, she was trying to own the narrative. And Nico? She stayed calm, she showed up, she played her part and followed direction. But internally, she was drawing boundaries, keeping her distance. It didn't happen all at once, but over time, it became clear. Nico was no longer comfortable around Bella, and those who paid close attention could see it too. Fans didn't notice it at first, but looking back, the signs were everywhere. Nico and Bella, once photographed laughing between takes during season 1, were suddenly never seen together. Press junkets? Avoided, red carpets, always separated by someone else in the cast. Interviews? Nico gave short, polished answers and rarely, if ever, mentioned Bella's name. And when she did speak, it was always about the writers, the directors, the crew, never her co-stars. It wasn't rude, it was calculated. Nico had found a way to dodge the drama without lighting the match herself. But the energy was impossible to ignore. Something had shifted. And it all came to a head during one interview that changed everything. What was meant to be just another promo stop turned into a PR disaster. Bella and Nico sat side by side. The questions were light, the setting casual, But within minutes, the atmosphere cracked. Bella dominated the mic, ranting about identity politics, waving off fan concerns, turning the entire conversation into a personal soapbox. Her tone, combative. Her posture, aggressive. And Nico, frozen. Crossed arms, tense jaw. Barely a glance toward Bella. She didn't speak unless directly asked. And even then, her answers were clipped, measured, empty of the warmth she used to bring to every conversation. Body language experts had a field day. Fans dissected every second. Was Nico silencing herself to avoid conflict? Was this the first real glimpse into what had been bubbling under the surface for months? It was only 3 minutes long, but that clip, it went viral. And from that moment on, no one could unsee it. Then came the leaks. Clips from early screenings started slipping online. Behind-the-scenes footage made its way to TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, and the backlash hit fast. On screen, Isabella Merced and Nico Parker brought emotional weight, subtlety, and believable chemistry. Bella? Fans called her performance awkward, stiff. They said she felt more like someone pretending to be Ellie than actually becoming her. Comparison videos flooded social media. One popular breakdown showed Nico delivering a single line with more nuance than Bella gave in an entire scene. Comments rolled in like a storm. How did HBO approve this? Nico's carrying every frame she's in. Bella sounds like she's doing a school play. But it wasn't just about acting anymore. Bella's off-screen behavior, her dominance in interviews, her political soapboxing was starting to bleed into how fans perceived her character. And Nico? She didn't say a word. She didn't have to. With fan criticism peaking, the dam finally broke. Anonymous crew members started talking. Insider blogs, Reddit threads, even private DMS shared with fan accounts, all pointed in the same direction. Bella Ramsey, they claimed, was a nightmare to work with. Controlling, dismissive, loud. She reportedly clashed with the writing team, ignored the director's notes, and constantly redirected attention toward her personal beliefs. And then came the bombshell. Nico Parker, usually silent, had privately described the set as a slow-motion disaster. She wasn't angry. She was exhausted. Some sources say Nico served as a buffer during high-tension moments on set, stepping in when Bella pushed too hard or derailed rehearsals. Others said she simply removed herself, staying quiet to avoid confrontation. But the truth was clear. This wasn't just creative differences, it was chaos. And Nico had finally had enough. By the time press junkets began, the contrast between Bella and Nico was night and day. Bella Ramsey wasn't just outspoken, she was on a mission. Every panel, every interview, every red carpet turned into a personal platform. She'd go off script, drag the conversation into heavy territory, and challenge fans who didn't agree with her worldview. And she didn't hold back online either. She lectured, she tweeted, she doubled down on controversial takes, even when fans asked her to refocus on the story. Meanwhile, Nico Parker said nothing. No political posts, no fiery interviews, not even a like or comment when the internet started roasting Bella's behavior. Instead, Nico redirected. When asked about the show, she praised the writing team. When prompted about cast chemistry, she talked about crew professionalism. And when Bella's name came up, she'd smile politely. And pivot. Sources say the ideological clash between the two actresses fractured the cast so badly that by mid-production, producers had to rearrange scenes just to keep them apart. Entire rewrites were ordered. Press tours were split. What was once a cohesive ensemble became two very separate camps. And that's when fans started wondering, was HBO quietly minimizing Bella's screen time to protect the show's future? No one confirmed it. But the evidence? It was everywhere. Backroom whispers quickly evolved into real consequences. Internally, HBO execs were panicking. Social media sentiment had turned, merch sales were down, focus groups were pulling apart Bella's performance and demanding more from everyone else. Behind the scenes, casting agents began flagging Bella Ramsey's name, not because of her talent, but because of the drama she brought with her. Words like volatile, unpredictable, and brand risk started showing up in emails. Meanwhile, Nico Parker became the exact opposite. A rising star who didn't just survive the chaos, she floated above it. Industry buzz was electric. She was called the next big thing. Not because she chased headlines, but because she avoided them. Her calm presence in interviews stood in stark contrast to the tension viewers had witnessed online. One source close to a major studio said, We want to work with someone who brings peace to the project. Nico gets it, Bella, not so much. Within weeks, Nico secured 2 major roles outside HBO. And Bella, she was suddenly unavailable. Campaigns paused, auditions quietly canceled, meetings indefinitely postponed. Hollywood had made up its mind, without ever saying a word. No tweet, no video, no dramatic podcast rant. Nico Parker's response came in the form of a single Instagram story, a black and white photo taken behind the scenes of TLOU3. She stood alone in the frame, shoulders back, jaw tight, gaze fixed on something just out of view. There was no caption, no hashtag, just silence. And that silence spoke volumes. The internet dissected the image like it was a clue in a true crime case. Fans zoomed in, frame analyzed, compared it to old press photos of her and Bella together, cheerful, arm in arm. Now, Nico looked distant, focused, different. Comment sections exploded. Is this a message? Nico's done with the BS. This is her way of saying, I'm not part of that drama. Suddenly, the quiet co-star became the voice of reason, the one who'd been watching the chaos build, and chose to walk away from it. And in that moment, the internet crowned her something rare in Hollywood. A professional. Someone who didn't chase attention, but earned it anyway. It started with whispers. HBO executives were evaluating options. Viewership reports showed a steep drop after the premiere. Merchandise partners quietly pulled back. But the most telling sign? No mention of Season 3. Not a teaser. Not a hint. Nothing. And then the bomb dropped. A leaked internal memo allegedly confirmed the worst. TLOU3 had been shelved indefinitely. No green light, no production dates, no plans to move forward. Fans were stunned. This was supposed to be a trilogy, a cultural moment. But insiders said the project became untenable, creative differences, fan backlash, and above all, Bella Ramsey. Her on-set behavior, combined with growing public controversies, had made the brand radioactive. One HBO producer reportedly told their team, "We'd rather take the loss than roll the dice on another PR nightmare." Meanwhile, Nico Parker stood untouched by the fallout. Her name wasn't in the drama. Her face wasn't in the clickbait. She emerged not just clean, but elevated. And for Bella, the silence was now suffocating. No public apologies, no new projects, no support from her co-stars. It wasn't a meltdown. It was a slow public collapse. The kind you can't edit out, the kind you can't bounce back from, the kind that happens when the camera keeps rolling and the mask slips. But what do you think? Did Nico Parker just expose the full truth behind the fall of The Last of Us? Is Bella Ramsey done in Hollywood? And was TLOU3 doomed the moment the cast stopped acting and started feuding? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and who knows? We might feature your take in the next video. Because this story, yeah, it's far from over.